What's up? What's up? What's up? Episode 113, Talking Friars podcast. Ben Fadden, your host here. Short episode today because there's nothing to talk about. The meetings between the league and the players, it's the same, pretty much same old song and dance. I actually recorded another episode before this, the same episode, and I guess you couldn't hear my voice, so I'm recording it again. Not great news out of Florida. Seems like players in the league, there's a lot of optimism, right? Last weekend, they're going to meet every day. They're probably going to lock themselves in a room, get a deal done. Of course, we'll have a deal done by February 28th, right? Of course we will. Yeah, no, not happening. Could happen. Some people want to be optimistic, say, hey, we have 4 days. That's a lot of time. Yeah, well, we've also wasted a lot of time. The players, the owners have, that is. Jesse Rogers tweeted 3 words, the title of this episode, "It's not good," at 2:10 Pacific time, about today, Thursday's negotiations. 4 days till the deadline, like I said, and on Thursday, still no significant progress. Michael K asked Buster Olney on his radio show today if he could share any good news. Buster, one-word answer, no. That's just the way the negotiations are. And it's embarrassing. I could keep saying the same stuff, and I probably will because I'm a diehard baseball fan. Shout out to the diehards, shout out to the casuals, the bandwagons, the non-Padre fans. Whoever's watching and listening, I appreciate it. But I don't fault you for not listening because it's the same song and dance that I've been, pretty much saying for the last few weeks, is that there's not a whole lot to be optimistic about. There's not a whole lot of discussions going on that are positive, that are progressive, that are compromising, major compromises, not 5 million here, 5 million there. Oh, but then if you make a $5 million compromise, then we're going to go 5 million backwards in another area. No. Major compromises. That hasn't happened. And it's disappointing, embarrassing. Any word you want to use, go ahead. The competitive balance tax, the pre-arbitration money, those are 2 big areas that the league, the players need to get ironed out for a season, a CBA to be agreed upon. And they're still not discussing those. But magically, they're somehow supposed to, appear and come to a compromise. Somehow, the competitive balance tax and the pre-arbitration money will magically line up where both agree without them discussing it. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. The players and the owners are both at fault. Owners more than players. I have pretty much maintained that. Although the players have not made it easy in some of these meetings, these reported leaks, where they've taken step backs in some areas where they know the owners aren't going to approve it. But it's more on the owners. There's no doubt about that. They're the ones that are the billionaires. But the pre-arbitration money, they're $95 million apart on that. No, but that'll magically solve itself. Let's not discuss that with 4 days left to go. 5 days, going into today's meetings. $31 million, in between the players and the owners in luxury tax money. No, but let's not discuss that. It'll magically appear. It'll magically, the numbers, the gap will magically decrease, right? It's magic, fairy dust. It'll magically shrink and we'll come to an agreement without discussing it with one another. No, that's not the way the world works. Owners, players, sorry, it's not. I'm not Colin Cowherd, but I'll make a comparison. It's like if I walk into my brother's room, he has a bunch of stuff on his floor, and I ask him, hey, can you clean it up? Just do a little bit every day. And by the end of the week, it'll be clean. But then the next day I go in and nothing has been cleaned. But I don't confront him about it. I don't ask. I don't say anything. I just expect it to magically get better. See that? I hope you see where I'm getting here. That doesn't work. You got to communicate in life. You have to communicate. Communicate. You have to compromise. Yeah, these two sides don't like each other. I understand that. Players hate the owners. Owners hate the players. Guess what? You want to get paid? You want to have fans in the stands so you have revenue? You have to talk to one another. Talk. You got to talk to one another. Matthew Silverman, a reporter, said that the sides remain far apart. This was after today's meetings. MLB told the players that they've run out of ideas. What? Run out of ideas? Are you freaking kidding? How do you run out of ideas when it's your job as the owners to have a plan A, B, C, D, E? Who are these owners, lawyers and stuff? Don't they have backup plans? And then Ron Fowler, nothing against him, but he wasn't even at these meetings earlier this week. He walks in today. What's the point of that? Doesn't it make sense for everyone to be at the meetings every day, every moment of the meeting, so they know exactly what's going on, so everyone's on the same page? No, that doesn't make sense to the owners. And it doesn't really make sense to the players either, to be quite fair, to be fair, because it seems like they're just adding players every day. It seems like there was a marathon of players walking into Roger Dean Stadium today. Andrew Miller, Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer are just a few. So a lot of it doesn't make sense. They're not discussing the main issues, and the owners run out of freaking ideas. That's where we're at right now. How does that happen? How do you run out of ideas when it's your job to have ideas, to have backup plans? What, you think the person that you hate is just going to agree to a proposal that you make all of a sudden when they don't agree with pretty much anything that you're proposing in the weeks before this? No, that's not the way it works, owners. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense the way that they're going about it. It doesn't make sense that they continue to have this plan where they meet for an hour and then they go talk with each other and then come back for 15 minutes and end the day. The reconvening with your own groups, the players and the owners by themselves, I understand why they do that. I do. Because you're not just going to have one person speak for the entire group and say, yeah, we agree to this. No, that's not the way it works. Everyone's going to have to agree to it. There's probably players, Craig Stammen, the Padres rep, is probably on Zoom and saying, I agree to this, I don't agree to this, giving input. But that's not really happening. It doesn't seem like, at least long enough. That's not what's happening. And you can't really have optimism, when the two sides aren't communicating. They're not compromising. They're not doing any of that. They're going to act like they're compromising and say that, we made these little $5 million increases just to say that we're, trimming the gap. Well, you're not trimming the gap in the areas that matter, which is the competitive balance tax and the pre-arb money, the bonus pool money. You're $95 million apart in that money, in the pre-arb money. You're $31 million away. 31 million. Yeah, I paused there just because 31 million is a big gap to be away in the luxury tax threshold, the competitive balance tax, whatever you want to call it. They're not close. They're not going to be close this week, it seems like, if these discussions continue this way. And it's embarrassing that the owners reportedly ran out of ideas. Ran out of ideas. That's laughable. That is absolutely laughable. They ran out of ideas, and we haven't even gotten to the CBT or the pre-arb money. So are they even going to have any ideas about those figures? We'll see if they even get to those, because the way it's going, they're not going to, because they're not making progress on the draft lottery picks, much progress at least, significant progress. That's not happening. So we're 4 days away. Time continues to click. Time continues to tick, sorry. Was looking at my phone on an alert about the MLB Players Association and Major League Baseball's talks. MLB labor talks to extend to Friday as Monday deadline to cancel regular season looms. Yep. Yes, it does. The owners try to threaten the players yesterday, say that, well, if we don't play a full season, you're not getting your full money. Then the players say, well, okay, you're not getting the full expanded playoffs then if we don't get our money. Back and forth, blah, 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 speaking right past each other, not to each other, past each other. When does that work out? Please, I'd love to know when that works out. Never. 4 days to go. It's not good. The 3 words Jesse Rogers used in his tweet earlier today. Those are 3 words that can describe a lot of things. Eric Hosmer's contract, the lockout situation, and some other things. You might notice that I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I'm frustrated, to be quite honest. I'm talking a little slower. Well, I mean, sometimes it leaves you speechless. Sometimes it's harder to develop thoughts on things that continue to happen, and 2 sides can't communicate to one another. And they decide, let's leak this stuff to the media, and so the fans can pick sides. The fans don't care what side wins. They care about having baseball on March 31st. That's what they care about. It's not looking good. 4 days, that's still a lot of time, but it's also not a lot of time based on the way that the players and the owners communicate with one another, or I should say, don't communicate with one another. Please feel free, give me your thoughts. Talking Friars Twitter and Instagram, comment section on YouTube. Thanks for coming along for this short ride, episode 113 of the Talking Friars podcast. Ben Fadden. We'll be back tomorrow for an episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, stay safe and do something else to find some happiness right now, because it's not great in the baseball world.